Hello Crafty Meraki friends, Aditi here and I welcome you back to the channel. I am so thrilled to be showcasing this new release stamp set just to note today in my card, and we are going to be making use of this statement sentiment as the focal point of our card. So I am beginning with the stamp set. This also comes with the coordinated die which I'll show you in a bit. But I am doing a resist emboss technique. This is one of my most favorite techniques to create a background. So starting with that just a note big large sentiment stamp, I am stamping that on my card front using embossing ink. Now my card front today is slightly smaller than an A2 card simply because I will be using a black mat later on. Now to stamp this, I am keeping in mind a repetitive pattern. So beginning with stamping that entire stamp image completely on the paper and then around that offsetting it. So some places I will stamp just, some places the A, some places the ending of that stamp. Like you can see, filling the corners and filling the edges of the paper, and what this does is gives us a recurrent repetitive pattern, creating an illusion of movement as if this is cut from a pattern paper and the design extends further on. Now once I'm happy with the stamping, I am sprinkling opaque bright white embossing powder from Wow and heat setting that completely. It is very hard to tell on the camera, but you can see that shine, and all of that is soon going to come to life with our ink blending. I am working with Altenew inks, and this is from the Jewel Tone set, Raw Amber, Green Opal and Tanzanite, and I'm thinking this would make for a really great masculine card as well. So beginning with the raw amber, I am blending that ink right from the top of the card front, and you can see how our stamped sentiment is resisting all of that inking because of that embossing powder and is coming to life. You can see the sentiment being revealed almost as if magically, but that's why I told you this is one of my favorite techniques. So going in with green opal and completing it with tanzanite, really creating a nice smooth blend between the two colors. I am having fun with this ink blending process. Once that's done, I am just spraying water, blotting it with a kitchen napkin to create this cool splatter effect, which creates another thing where at places the ink is muted and faded and just brings about a sense of cohesiveness. Now I am going to mat this on black cardstock. So that is a piece of A2 black card mat. And then I'm completely matting all of this on a white card base. Again, an A2 card base. Today I am creating a top fold card, and so I am using double-sided adhesive tape to just mat my card front to the card base. I'm doing this because I intend to add other layers with foam tape, so I want to finish this process right here. Now bringing in the new release die, the Just to Note die, I am going to die cut that complete outline on black cardstock and then just the Just to Note outline on white cardstock and the letters on this glitter sapphire cardstock. I'm also using one of these floral clusters from the wreath die set, and I will be die cutting these layers on white cardstock. Now back with all the die cut layers, I am first going to assemble the sentiment. So using liquid glue here, I am adhering the white just a note onto that complete black outline, already bringing it to life. You will see here I use this silicone tip brush just to get rid of any excess glue so that I don't have any glue marks. I am then adhering the just a note letter by letter using liquid glue again, adding each alphabet to its outline and basically bringing the sentiment to life. I love these contrasting layers. how the blue shines on the white and then the white on the black. I think this makes for a perfect statement sentiment. By that I mean, no matter where you place it, no matter how busy your background is, this sentiment is going to be the highlight. This sentiment is going to be showcased, and the card receiver is definitely going to enjoy that. So just checking everything looks good. I am coming back to the florals, and I am referring to the guide on the packaging itself just to see how to put these together, sorting them out and just deciding which layers I want to color with which ink. So I am using the same exact inks I have on the background, and I decided to create blue flowers. So the topmost layer, I am doing very light ink blending, keeping them light. And the bottom layer, I am going heavy handed and just doing a darker ink blending, making sure those layers are darker. So when I layer these two together, it looks like a nice realistic flower with that shading, the light and the dark. So bringing that blue there, and you see extra petals from these flowers, and I am going to use these petals as leaves, and I'll show you that just in a moment. But nicely darkening the edges of that second layer, and right there you can see against when placed next to that first layer, it creates a nice distinguished layer with the same ink cube. So I am going to color the two extra petals green for the leaves and the flower centers green, and the bigger flower center bit I am going to color yellow. And all of this is going to make sense just in a bit once I put these flowers together. I have all my elements colored and ready to assemble. So I am going to use liquid glue again here, and placing a little bit tiny amount of the glue right in the center, assembling the petals together, adding that yellow flower center and laying over the green center to get this beautiful flower. Now for the second arrangement, I'm showing you something slightly different. I have glued the layers of the flower centers together and sandwiched them between the two blue petals just to create a slightly different look. And that is something that I wanted to show you. The same dye can be used in different ways to layer, creating a variation in just how you layer them. Now to put everything together, I am going to definitely use foam tape on the Just a Note sentiment so that it's a little dimensional, uprooted from my card base and stands out well when I have it on there. So placing my sentiment, I am now deciding my arrangement for the flowers. I love how they look when they are on two opposite corners, so I decide to just go with that. So once I have those two down in place, I am just going to make sure I hold them there and use liquid glue to adhere them in place. I do this just so I don't have to figure out my arrangement, but you will see in a bit I end up moving the bottom flower just so I know it fits right and looks good. So once I have those two flowers in place, I am going to adhere the sentiment, and I definitely like to add a little liquid glue over the foam tape so everything stays intact, and just rotating, twisting, turning, making sure my flowers look good anchored by that sentiment. I am now going to use these green petals as leaves. So I'm snipping them off, making sure I have one cluster with two as if they are two leaves and then one single leaf, and tucking them right behind the flowers with the liquid glue, offsetting them a bit, creating this sense of the flowers are being held by the leaves. So I do that on both these flower clusters, making sure that the leaves look good. And another tip right here, for something like this, it's always good to rotate your card, turn it around, because the first time when I just tried to place that, I thought I liked that, but I didn't get it perfectly like I wanted. So it helps by just turning the card around and seeing the flower right side up, placing the leaves, and then knowing that you have them nicely anchored and holding the flower in place. So, with all of that done, I am happy and I think this card needs nothing more. I did complete it with some black gemstones, just in triangles near the two flower clusters, and I love how this card has turned out. Do leave your comments, let me know how you like this, and I look forward to inspiring you all with my creations. Until the next time, take care and bye bye.